One day before President Biden's visit to Selma, Alabama, his predecessor headlined the Conservative Political Action Conference in Maryland, just outside of Washington. Over the course of nearly 2 hours, former President Donald Trump lashed out at Biden and many Republicans, bemoaned ongoing investigations into himself, vowed he won't drop out of the race even if he's indicted, and signaled how he might campaign in the future, in the coming months, to be elected again. Here's what he said.
In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Joining me now, former Trump White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham and Olivia Troye, a former advisor to Vice President Mike Pence. Stephanie, let me start with you. It's so easy to blow off Trump's bluster and some of the things that he says, but when he talks about retribution and talking about revenge, what did you make of that?
Well, it's something I've been saying for quite a while, that this is going to be a revenge tour for the former president. But I wondered specifically with regard to what he said, who decides who needs the retribution? Who's going to decide who's been mistreated? I mean, what about all of the people who suffered or had family members pass away from COVID? Are you going to be retribution for that? You had a hand in that. So I think it was, as you just said, a lot of bluster for him, but it's what his base wants to hear. And I think it's something that should be taken seriously. It's a lot of people right now, I think, are rolling their eyes and saying that's just Trump being Trump. But this is important. We need to really pay attention to what he's saying and realize that we're not going to get the same Donald Trump. We're going to get a more angry and vengeful Donald Trump if he should take office.
Right, if that's even possible. And Olivia, speaking earlier this past week with CBS News, your former boss, Mike Pence, twice declined to commit to supporting Donald Trump. That was notable. If he's the GOP nominee, listen to what he had to say.
Well, I think we'll have better choices, and I really trust Republican voters to sort it out.
Yeah, that's not really committing to supporting Trump. What do you think of that, Olivia?
Well, I think, there aren't many of us who hope that there would be a better choice than Donald Trump, but the reality is that is where the Republican Party is. And like Stephanie said, I don't discount Trump. He is the front runner. I think Pence is hoping, hey, I'm a better choice. The choice is me. And I strongly believe that he will run. But I think the reality is that the path to victory there in the Republican lane is very narrow for any of these other candidates outside of Trump. And I think the Republican Party needs to decide whether they're willing to support someone else and really back that candidate.
And I guess I want to ask you both, just as a follow-up to that, I mean, can you believe where we are right now coming out of CPAC, where Donald Trump, obviously he won the unscientific straw poll over at CPAC, but he's leading in all of the polls. Stephanie, as his former White House press secretary, and I know you don't want to see him back in the Oval Office ever again, are you at all surprised that Trump is in this position where Larry Hogan decided today he's not going to run? There aren't a lot of takers in terms of wanting to take on Donald Trump. He may get this nomination again. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm obviously not happy, and I have committed to doing all I can to try and ensure that that doesn't happen by just talking to people and educating people on who he really is. But, I think that what Asa Hutchinson did was smart. I think that he really saw that he had no path to victory. And I think, I hope that other—
Larry Hogan, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I think other people who are wanting to maybe jump into the race, I hope that they have that kind of, look within moment, because again, as we all have talked about many times back in 2016, the reason Trump won the primary was because the field was so big. I do believe if somebody like Ron DeSantis gets in, it's early yet. So these polls, I know they do have Trump ahead, but I do believe if somebody really gets in and is willing to take him on, I think there's a fighting chance there. But I'm definitely worried. I'm definitely concerned about, how strong he is still after everything that people have seen over and over.
Olivia, Stephanie mentioned Ron DeSantis. What do you think? Do you think he could potentially knock Trump out of this spot that he's in right now, which really he's the front runner right now? He's the man to beat. I know there's a long way to go. But I mean, many people consider the Florida governor the strongest opponent Trump could face for the nomination. But do you think he could knock him out of that spot?
I think it'll be very hard. I think once DeSantis gets going, I don't think he's as appealing. He doesn't have the charisma, so to speak, in quotes, that Trump has, that kind of draw, that fiery brand, I would say. Look, I don't see the two of them as being different people. I know that many of my Republican colleagues will say, "Oh, DeSantis is so much better." I don't see his politics as very different than Trumpism. He is Trumpism. He's just, got a different cloak wrapped around him. But I think it's a possibility. Do I see it? Not right now.
And Stephanie, Trump said yesterday to reporters that he's going to run again no matter what, even if he's indicted. What are your thoughts? I mean, do you think that there's a chance that we will see an indictment of Donald Trump, or did the Justice Department, various authorities just kind of miss their chance to do that, to bring an indictment?
Well, I don't want to say that they missed their chance. As we all know, the wheels of justice move very, very slow. And I do believe truly that the Justice Department wants to do this the right way. I don't believe we're going to see him get indicted. I really don't. I think that at this point, it'll all just be political, according to, the Republican Party. But the fact, to answer your question, the fact that he said that, he would continue to run even if indicted, that did not surprise me at all. That was prime Trump. He's doubling down. This is how he says he's completely innocent. And he just, he doesn't care about the justice system. He doesn't care. He gets away with everything. So why would he suddenly be like, all right, I'm going to drop out?
Olivia, quick final thought to you.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to have? We're going to have Donald Corleone running for the presidency of the United States. Did we ever see that day coming? I mean, this is embarrassing if he does get indicted, and that would be the case. But I agree with Stephanie. I see him doubling down. Look, there's a reason that Jim Jordan and all these Republicans on the Hill have this weaponization of the U.S. government committee. That is all, in my opinion, part of the strategic plan of how they will spin this.
All right, Olivia Troye, Stephanie Grisham. Sorry to race out of the segment, but glad to have you both on again. Thanks again. Great to see you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.